On certain mornings in Hainaut, when the wind slides over the Scourmont plateau and the fields carry the sound of bells farther than you think possible, the story of Chimay does not feel like a tale so much as a patient echo. The Abbey rose from the mid-19th century with a humble idea: work, prayer, and honest sustenance for a community that needed both bread and purpose. Brewing began not as commerce, but as continuity, a way to transform local grain and water into something sturdy, nourishing, and consoling. In time, the monks learned to coax wonder from the mash tun, and an unassuming winter specialty brewed in the 1950s found its destiny. That beer, born as seasonal, grew into a banner for the blue label the world now knows as Chimay Grande Réserve. At first you notice the color, a deep mahogany that seems to hold candlelight like an old chapel absorbs whispers. Then the aromas arrive in ascending steps, as if walking cloister corridors toward a warm kitchen. Dark fruit suggests fig and date. Caramel meets cocoa. A breeze of spice drifts past, half clove and half cracked pepper. What starts as simple comfort becomes a deliberate conversation between sweetness and restraint. The monks understood that elegance is not loud, it is layered. Slowly the details gather. Chimay Grande Réserve is a quadruple by the modern taxonomy, yet the house prefers to let the beer speak rather than the category. The alcohol hums at 9%, a steady glow rather than a blaze. Bitterness sits at a measured 35 IBU, a firm line that reins in the rich malts without stealing the spotlight. Belgian candy sugar lightens the body while deepening flavors, a clever paradox. The yeast is the quiet conductor, raising esters of plum and cherry, wrapping them in a peppery phenolic shawl. Carbonation sparkles like cathedral glass catching sun. Somewhere between the foam and the finish, you remember why bottle conditioning matters, why time itself is an ingredient. It helps to return to where it is made. Bière de Chimay, within the grounds of Abbey Notre-Dame de Scourmont, is not a museum, it is living work. Founded by Trappist monks who believed labor could be prayer in motion, the brewery began in the 1860s and has remained, through wars and rebuilding, a faithful neighbor to the village. The water comes from the Abbey's wells. Grain and hops are chosen with a craftsman's eye rather than a collector's. The monks oversee the mission. Skilled lay professionals handle the day-to-day brewing with monastic calm. Profits support the Abbey's needs and social works far beyond its stone walls. Cheese continues as a proud sibling to the beer, a cultural handshake from field to table. Chimay Grande Réserve is in production today as it has been for decades, bottled in classic sizes and in celebratory large formats, always re-fermenting to maturity. At times, special editions rest in oak, but the core expression, the blue label, carries the house voice, recognizable the way a family member's laugh rings true even in a crowded room. Compare it, and the contrasts sharpen the picture. West-Vellerin guards scarcity like a vow, a reservation, a hush. Its dark, strong ale dense as a library of leather-bound volumes. Rochefort leans into plush cocoa and a soft minerality, its number 10 swirling with licorice and orchard at dusk. Westmalle, father of the triple, aims upward in gold and spice, ethereal where Chimay blue is autumnal. Orval plays a different music altogether, dry-hopped and kissed by Brettanomyces, a meadow in late afternoon that finishes brisk and bone-dry. La Trappe in the Netherlands shows Dutch clarity, a quadruple built with tidy lines and mild sweetness. Chimay Grande Réserve threads a middle path, neither the rarest nor the most austere, but deeply articulate. It is confident enough to be found in shops around the world, yet contemplative enough to reward patience, cellaring, and quiet company. Where some Trappist breweries treat availability as a curtain, Chimay treats it as a doorway. Philosophy matters. Trappist brewing is not a stylistic club, but a covenant. The beer must be made within or near the monastery, under monastic supervision, with proceeds directed to the Abbey and charitable work. Within that frame, each house finds its own voice. Chimay's voice is hospitable. It invites pilgrims and wanderers, students and retirees, committed enthusiasts and curious beginners. Technical discipline keeps the welcome precise. The mash temperatures are judged for a fermentable profile. The pitch rate is mindfully set. Conditioning time is not a deadline, but a destination. That is how 9% settles into balance, and 35 IBU stays purposeful rather than stern. That is why the pour lifts a persistent head, and why the aftertaste fades like a psalm, not a shout. I have seen it shared at kitchen tables scarred by use and in bars where 1,000 conversations have left their own patina. Travelers bring it back from Belgian with the zeal of new converts, then discover it stocked down the block because Chimay believes that excellence loses nothing by being within reach. Pair it with the Abbey's own cheese, and the dialogue becomes wonderfully circular. Nutty and creamy against dark fruit and spice, the cheese softening edges while the beer resets the palate with lift and light. In the end, it is the human scale that stays with you. A monastery keeps its schedules, a brewery keeps its fermentations, a community keeps its promises. Chimay Grande Réserve, a quadruple of 9% and 35 IBU, holds all that in the glass without fuss. Amid the world's noise, it reminds you that craft can be reverent and generous at once. If this blue label is your doorway into the Trappist universe, step through and keep walking. Seek the layered austerity of Rochefort, the luminous edge of Vestmalle, the wild perfume of Orval. Then circle back to the plateau at Scourmont, where bells ride the wind and the beer still tastes like work made beautiful.
Até a próxima cerveja.